Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Shield Hero, Season 4.
Yep, Shield Hero, Season 4, Episode 12. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back from our Anime Night in the dojo, and I decided to just wait till our next recording session. We didn't do this like immediately after Peacemaker last week, just to get through the pain, because I didn't have it in me, you guys. I didn't have it in me. I couldn't do it. It wasn't there. I was just like, one thing a week like this, it was enough. So, who knows? Maybe this final episode will be awesome and like have an epic teaser for this shit that we should have gotten this season, and that'll be fun, right? Maybe. No, she doesn't think so. So, yeah. Honestly, you guys heard us complain about this all season, so I honestly don't see the need to talk about this season on a whole like we usually do, because we've already done that. You guys know our feelings about this. We all know how this probably should have went, what direction they've gone in, how the show is on, or not the show, but the source material is on hiatus, even though we're still several dozen chapters behind bare minimum. So they probably have enough for another season. So we'll probably get it because it's one of the Kadokawa big players. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll keep doing it. But man, if we get a season 5, but again, everything we said this whole season. So yeah, I really don't see the need to have a big season discussion like we usually do, like we did for Dan to Dan, Dress Up Darling. Didn't have to do for Gachi Yakuta yet because that's 2 core. But yeah, this will be the last show we're wrapping up before next week, so we're probably just not going to do it. We'll talk about this episode, and then just, yeah, we've already talked about this season, so I'll let Victoria do the stills of the season, and that'll be it. So this episode won't be the usual little bit longer season wrap-up stuff, because I don't see the point. So either way, people on Patreon, as always, will get the timer set up and see you on the other side of that edit for that, and people on YouTube will see you on the other side of the edit here for the discussion and review, which, probably won't be that freaking long unless I want to go on a rant, but I really don't. I just want to go watch Peacemaker, because that's the other thing we're doing today. So I just want to get out of here. So if it pleasantly surprises me, then cool, but I'm not holding my breath, so let's push some buttons and get this shit together and out of the way. So, here goes something. Well, alrighty then. We had some stuff to say at the end of the reaction there. They did confirm Season 5, so we'll just get that out of the way immediately. They're probably working on it if they have, a couple frames of it. You know what I mean? Several thousand frames of it right there, actually. So, that will probably be coming sooner rather than later. Maybe this will be the kick in the ass for the author to do something if the anime catches up to the source material. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. I don't know. Maybe that's their plan, is to be like, okay, maybe if we just pump out the anime and then the author will figure their shit out. I don't know what the deal is with that, but okay.
We're still a bit of a ways off from that, because the Cute and Low stuff ends around, the ending of Cute and Low's the end of volume 14-ish, with volume 15 being the start of the Phoenix stuff, and 22 is where the author left off on. So we still probably have at least another season or 2 before we're even really close to catching up.
Right. This is slowly reaching MHA levels of duration. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm kind of surprised the Kadokawa show is doing this. Though, to be fair, ReZero is going to be pretty long, and that'll probably be all animated since they've already announced Season 4 is coming next year. So, I mean, we'll probably be wrapping up Konosuba here relatively soon, because that doesn't have too much left because that finished. But
Overlord's going on to Season 5 now too, though. Yeah. Overlord is getting very close to being done. They really only have 2 major story arcs left to cover, and then they're probably going to do the friggin' the Ghost Ship of Kot's side story, because they hinted at it in the movie.
Right. So anyway, let's start right here. Because again, we're not going to do a huge season wrap up. There's a couple things we want to that have implications for the future that we'll bring up a little bit, but not going to have our usual like tack on of a season wrap up for this. But again, what was the point of her? Obviously, we got literally nothing on Machina, and that's a huge negative. So she was an evil bitch. No rhyme or reason, no motivation, why she was doing it. Was her family wronged by that previous emperor? Nothing. Not even like we could have just done what like Sakamoto Days did a good job with people's backstories. Even some of the lesser characters, like say what was his name? The character that was with Alexa Bliss's character. He got like a 3-minute backstory, and that was enough.
Hard-boiled.
Yeah, hard-boiled. Just something. Literally nothing. Now, maybe in the source material it's there. I don't know. But
the only thing we really got was from the Emperor, the past Emperor. And basically all she really did was just confirm that, like, from what she was saying, Machina isn't actually the one responsible for killing her. She just died naturally.
Yeah.
But then Machina was the one supposed to be, acting as the regent for the current Emperor, but instead of actually doing what she was supposed to do, decided to exploit her position.
Yeah.
That's basically all we got on her.
Yeah, so she's a corrupt politician that just wanted to do stuff her way and have the emperor on puppet strings. Okay, that would have been good enough for me. I don't care. Just if that's how she's always been. I don't care if it was like, she tells the emperor to do something and there's like 2 guards standing there, and then the guy just like, he's like a new guy and he's like, what's her deal? It's like, she's just always been a bitch since she was like a little kid. I went to like kindergarten with her and she's always been like that. That would have been good enough for me. Just anything. You know what I mean? Okay, so she's just always been heartless and, that way, and, wormed her way up the ladder and it's there, and now she's just being a bitch. Okay, but literally nothing is insane.
Yeah. In this particular frame, we did get confirmed what we were kind of suspecting, though, and she's level 80.
Yep. We figured she had to be reasonably high level to push the Emperor around. That's simple.
Which we didn't get it like outright confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that is the like weird cursed slave crest that bitch was using. So she probably had at least some connection to the Otherworlders.
Yep. Because there's a bunch of that stuff kind of going around in the background, like we saw there at the end of the episode with Motoyasu's stuff with him killing bitch because he's still under his pig curse thing. But she's not dead because she's got those weird connections, and she's probably going to be relevant again at some point because you're not going to keep her around and do nothing with her. You know what I mean? So
yeah, she's just ever since season 1 has just kind of been a slow burn in the background, just conniving and occasionally pulling shit.
Right. So,
but yeah, last we know really was just her scheme with the cursed slave crests.
Yep. So maybe it had something to do with this. Maybe that's the big freaking Wizard of Oz reveal in the backdrop. I don't know, but I mean, she's younger than this situation, so it's not like she could have been planning this for over a decade or something. So
yeah, no, I imagine it is a thing of just like whatever the Otherworld faction is that's been pulling these shenanigans. Because we know it's not it's a faction from like Sin's Dead World or something like that. We know it's from a world other than the world they're competing with in the waves.
Yep.
But we don't really know any specifics about it, just that it's a faction from a different world that isn't one of the 2 worlds we know of. And presumably, at some point or another, they got involved in this whole situation and gave Machina access to the corrupted slave crests.
Yep. So, that is what it is. That was something to discuss. And again, we mentioned it during the episode, but this whole sequence had more frames than like the rest of the season combined. Which, again, I mentioned at the end of the reaction there that frames doesn't make anything better. You know what I mean? Better is just better. It doesn't matter how you do it, whether it's story, plot, voice acting, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Just because you put more frames into something, or my analogy was more money into a sports team, doesn't mean you're going to win or be better. You know what I mean? So, it just is what it is. Did it look better than most of the season? Obviously, yes. But, you know, it comes down to budget and time and all that crap. So, that just is what it is. But either way, yes, this was probably the best episode of the season for what it was. We got a little bit more on, you know, like the pacifier stuff with, you know, the Emperor being the one to have to keep like the heroes in check and stuff like that. Fine, whatever. Obviously, Raphtalia is not going to turn on Naofumi, so that was a thing that was like a relic of Cute and Low's past that is obviously needs to go away because, hi, they're part of the world too, and if the world loses to the waves, then guess what happens to Cute and Low? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like the whole thing with the pacifier, from what we know, is just that, yeah, the pacifier is an emperor who's particularly strong, and they travel with the heroes and kicks the shit out of them if they step out of line.
Yep, just full on rolled up newspaper. Hey, what are you doing?
Like, your job here is to deal with the waves. You start being corrupt or forgetting your place, then I get to beat you up like John Cena.
Pretty much, you get to be AJ Styles and beat up John Cena. So, yeah, it is what it is. I think all of this is just, you know, again, the placement. We talked about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
This should have not taken an entire season. This was up there with, you know, Guild Receptionists just taken, you know, 10 episodes to get done what they should have gotten done in 3. This should have been like half the season tops, and then we should have gotten into the Phoenix stuff. But again, we talked about that, so.
I do know that the Phoenix stuff in particular is a big deal, but it's still.
Right.
Honestly, they could have done this as like a movie.
Yeah, it could have
probably. And then had the Phoenix be season 4.
Yeah, something like that. This would have, if this had been like a feature-length film, like on par with what they did with the Overlord movie, you know, something like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, it would have been enough. You know, not enough happened in here that was like, oh man, we really need all these extra little things. You know what I mean? So all this stuff was handled, and Motoyasu is still Motoyasu, which again, this stuff right here was probably the more interesting bit of the season, is because this isn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So his minute and a half of screen time was arguably the more interesting and important stuff that happened this whole season. Like I said, if that had happened at any other time, would have been a fun watch. The aesthetic's cool. I like the aesthetic, whatever. But still, it just... We've talked about it. Okay?
Yeah. The Motoyasu stuff just raises a ton of questions. Like, him not recognizing bitch here and seeing her as a pig, we already know that. That's part of his lust curse.
Yeah.
He can't, like, perceive women properly. It's basically just they're either philo to him or they're a pig. So, like, he doesn't even recognize that this is bitch here.
Yeah.
He just sees her as another hostile female.
Yep.
But his whole spiel that he's going on here, like the Philolials are a thing, freaking the fact that he can inexplicably murder all the Cute and Low assassins despite them supposed to be basically immune to spirit weapons. Like
cat to light switch. Gotta be immune to cat to light switch, right? So yeah, it's, well, he does that just while he fixes his light sequence. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. You know, what are you gonna do about it? It is what it is. It's kind of weird to have a show like peak in the first season, and it's not like this is the only show that's ever done that. Probably won't be the last, but it is just kind of weird to just see it like as something that we've done for a long time, and just be like, it surely it'll start going back uphill at some point, right? Surely, you know, it's kind of like being a Cowboys fan, you know, claiming that like, oh no, we're the best, and you know, we're not. It's not even like that. It's more like what's a better analogy for that? It's like maybe the next Battlefield will be a good game. That's a good one, right? That finally maybe happened. Battlefield fans have been asking for a better Battlefield for like a decade and a half now, whatever the hell it's been, and it maybe finally happened. You'd have to ask the Battlefield people, but you know.
So, I will say, I've looked into it a bit more, and the Phoenix stuff, like I said, is actually a fairly big deal. And it's considered to be one of the bigger story arcs. I will say, though, that super questionable thing that got spoiled for me apparently happens during the Phoenix arc.
Right. So, yeah. Either way, I know a lot of people didn't like the Spirit Tortoise stuff, but hey, that was supposed to be one of the major things that occurred, so I didn't have a problem with it. So if we get back to even like that kind of thing, I'll be reasonably satisfied. You know what I mean? I'm not... as I've mentioned before, most of these shows, I don't go into them, especially with something that's already established like this and has multiple seasons. I don't expect it to reinvent anything and like blow me away and be the next Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know what I mean? I don't expect anything to be like the next greatest of all time. If it happens, cool. But I just want it to be watchable and fun. That's why what we talked about with Solo Leveling the other day is like, Solo Leveling is a cool show to watch. But once again, it has zero plot. That's its major flaw. But is it still cool and fun to watch? Absolutely. But it's a mediocre show when you put it all together. You know what I mean? Is it cool and fun and everything? Yeah. And sometimes that's all you need. And that's all you want out of that show. If it eventually gets a plot, which it looks like that show is teasing, sure, cool. But it absolutely should have not swept over Frieren, which had everything. So.
Yeah, no, Frieren of recent shows is in a league of its own.
Yeah. It's pretty much Frieren and Arcane. That's it.
Yeah.
Are there other good shows, like Dan to Dan, stuff like that? Yeah. But, you know.
Has been as well.
Has been, yeah. But, you know, it's just... It's... Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apart from this Motoyasu stuff, the biggest thing really was just the Emperor bit at the end there, like, kind of establishing Raphtalia's actual role in the world and her getting a bit more into her actual powers. Because that's something we never really touched on. Like, once again, the stuff with her backstory, that's already been resolved. That didn't need to be brought back up again.
Yep.
But this whole thing...
It ended up having no bearing on any of this.
The only thing that mattered was just that, okay, she's royal blood, so therefore she could become the Emperor.
Yeah, that was it.
That's the only thing that mattered about her backstory in any way, shape, or form here.
Yeah.
But once again, like, she's had no interaction with Kyutenla whatsoever. We still don't even know in her backstory, like, the one thing that we didn't get clarified that actually kind of matters the most was if she was born in Kyutenla or if her parents didn't have her until after they fled.
Yep.
So she potentially doesn't have any experience in Kyutenla whatsoever, because she could potentially have not even been born yet. We don't know.
Yep.
But yeah, her definite lack of experience, if not outright having no experience, combined with her only having the Emperor's power for like a day at this point. Yeah, like she clearly was having to learn on the fly in the fight.
Yep.
But it also, once again, the whole thing with the Emperor that she was fighting, like she says before she fades, like she was doing everything that she could in her situation, but once again, it's only a fragment of the Emperor's soul in a foreign body.
Yeah, it's kind of like characters who use like a homunculus or something, or like a clone jutsu or something. You know what I mean? They can't use their full power. It's happened in Slime, that kind of stuff. Other shows that like a character will use like a remote controlled body, basically, and it's obviously not their body. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be able to do everything that body could do, that their original body could do. So, you know, if the Emperor was say at like 10,000 power level as a number with the body that she was just in, maybe she could only use like 6,000 or something. You know what I mean?
I imagine, once again, it's since she's constrained by Sheldina's physical limits and the fact that she's only a fragment of the Emperor's soul, she's not actually the full Emperor or anything, that she was probably only actually fighting at like 15% tops.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So, either way, the only other big thing that came out of this right here, it was in this scene right here where they pretty much confirmed that there's only one more Spirit Beast after the Phoenix, which I'm also pretty damn sure that we never got any confirmation on how many there were. Just that there were Spirit Beasts. I don't remember them saying there's 4 of them or something. You know what I mean?
No, it was like the only thing we really got was just Spirit Tortoise randomly shows up. Everyone panics and tries to deal with it. Spirit Tortoise gets dealt with, and now Fumi's all like, okay, well, at least that's dealt with. Let's go back to what there's a Phoenix?
Yeah, pretty much. So
that it was just kind of dropped on him that, like, yeah, no, the Spirit Tortoise awakening means all of them are going to wake up. So now we have the Phoenix to deal with. Yep. And no one ever elaborated beyond that.
Right.
This is the first time we've gotten any sort of even implication as to how many there actually are, which, yeah, Raftalia here, the way she words it implies that there's only 3, that there's only 1 after the Phoenix.
Yep. So, okay. Great. But either way, here at the end, they did outright confirm Season 5 straight up. I was going to make a joke about how this looked like the desert from the Isekai Quartet movie, where Pentagruel, I believe the character's name was, that was very Megumin-like, that we assumed it was a dead world, and that was like Shield Hero's big like connection to the Isekai Quartet universe, and how Isekai Quartet has been confirmed to be canon for all the series attached to it. Maybe not Eminence of Shadow, which is going to be part of it, but we'll look into that later. But yeah, we'll just have to see. But yeah, straight up, we got a bunch of frames from the upcoming season, obviously, and then we got that, which people will probably freak out about, and then we get the big freaking 5 here. So that clearly means they're working on it. So,
yeah.
Well, if not next year, I'd say at latest 2027. You know what I mean? Because these days they're pumping stuff out for various reasons. That's not something I want to get into right now. So, yeah. Yeah,
they've generally been keeping to about a year and a half, 2-ish on this series, but I mean, this one was pretty damn rushed.
Yep.
So we'll have to see how they decide to treat the Phoenix arc, because once again, like I said, it's supposed to be a pretty damn big deal of an arc.
Yep. Also, this isn't like a potential for a movie or anything, because this is a big 5 right here. Season 5.
Yeah.
So it's not going to get like the Overlord treatment with an arc such as the Holy Kingdom being relegated to a movie, which was better than we expected it would be at the very least, but still, I don't know. So that's all I really got. We really don't have anything else to say for the season, because we've talked about it all season. You guys know how we feel. I already mentioned that. So when season 5 happens, we'll do it, because we're already invested in the show and we don't drop anything. So that's just how it is. We have to show, compare, and contrast things that are bad so that you can appreciate the good, and that's how you end up, having objective assessment with certain things, and not claiming that one of the first shows you've ever watched is the greatest show of all time and telling people as such when you have no basis in reality. So anyway, that being said, again, I'm sure it somehow could have been worse.
Yeah.
There's my optimistic outlook for this. Somehow it could have been worse. It had some funny moments at the very least, because I'm just a guy who loves comedy. The harem stuff, it was funny, so at least there was that.
Yeah, we got Motoyasu too.
Motoyasu too, yeah, that was a thing.
We added another one to the harem with Sheldina.
Yeah, we added another one. We found out that what's their name from the village was actually a girl the whole time, so just random little bits of stuff. Sign apparently being part of everything now too, and whatever. It's madness. But
I do know that Sign is a pretty important character in the grand scheme of things, mostly because of, she has connection to that Otherworld faction with them hunting her down and stuff like that.
Yep. So
plus she's like the only real connection to a confirmed dead world.
Yep. So either way, hopefully we start trending upward again. That'd be cool. But when Shield Hero comes back, we'll do it. So anyway, that's all I got for this. Anything else you wanted to add, Age, or it's good and want to get the hell out of here?
I mean, the only other thing is really just when, they were talking about it in this episode as well, is like kind of some of the differences in Raphtalia's powers. In that, she is very much an oddball for an emperor. In that, she's wielding a spirit implement from another world. And whereas it seems like the emperors are like universally light aligned, she's light and darkness in equal parts.
Yep.
And that was like how she was supposed to apparently able to cancel out a number of the previous emperor's powers in the duel. So like that's a thing to kind of keep an eye on more. Like we knew her elements were light and dark. And that she had some, like, skills for illusion and stuff like that. But apparently the light side of things is very much her royal bloodline. And the freaking emperors in particular are big illusionists.
Yep.
So she'll probably start leaning more into that now that she has access to the emperor's powers.
Right. So anyway, all we can do is hope for the best, you guys. So again, we'll be starting up a new set of shows next week. Gachi Akuda is continuing, obviously, because that's a 2-core. That might turn into the next Danmachi for all we know, because that is just... Apparently the author for that and Dan are just machines, and they're pumping it out like nobody's business, content-wise, so...
Yeah, the Gachi Akuda author is apparently averaging something like 5 volumes a year right now.
Yeah, she's going ham. So hopefully she doesn't burn out. Hopefully she's taking some breaks, because we've all seen burnout. Oda is on a break right now for One Piece and stuff like that. A lot of these authors, like hell, even the Shield Hero author hasn't done anything in 4 years, so maybe they'll get out of their funk. But it's one of those things of if you're good and you stay healthy, and you see this in a lot of the mangaka authors, it's like they're all inexplicably like frail is the best way to put it, I guess. Because I understand that you're doing a lot of stuff, and you can overwork yourself, absolutely, and you can like work yourself into being sick, or just knock yourself out, basically, right, and like overtax your body, and just it's too much. But it seems like a lot of them, on top of like doing too much, are also on top of that have some like something wrong with them, like some sort of disease or condition that hinders them. You know what I mean? And maybe that's why they're an author, maybe so they don't have to do physical labor. But still, it's one of those things where it's just like kind of fascinating to me. Like it's like, man, there's so many of them that have like some kind of health issue, or they like burn out, or have a thing where they just they're not going to be able to work this week or for the next couple weeks, whatever. And I'm not saying it's not difficult. Obviously, it is. I'm not downplaying how much effort they put into this stuff. It's hard. But
even with like the minimal art that is in manga compared to stuff like anime and stuff like that, it's literally one person writing the whole story and then also doing all of the art for the manga, oftentimes trying to put out like a full chapter in like a week.
Right. You could always just go the One Punch Man route. You guys know how the beginning of his series started. They look like freaking stick figures. That's if you guys ever wonder why Tatsumaki in that show looks weird, that's how she looks like in the source material for the time.
Yeah, like that freaking One's whole thing. It was like he's never been good at art. He's just been good at coming up with characters and stories. So like, yeah, even the actual mangas for like One Punch Man and Mob and stuff like that aren't done by him.
Yeah.
He did the original like web comics for him to get him popular, and then just kind of handed them off to some
you
other
guys fix it.
artists.
I'm not fixing this. You do the facelift. You pimp my ride.
Yeah, so he just comes up with the story and then has other freaking manga artists actually do the mangas.
Right. So either way, I wish anybody that's working on anything like this, health, and hopefully not ending up, say, like in the position that the Hunter x Hunter author is in, because that's crazy. We need to help that guy somehow.
Yeah.
Put him in space. Give him a giant radiation shield so he doesn't have to deal with back pain. I don't care what it is. We need to get this done. That man deserves to finish his story, not unlike Cody Rhodes. Even more so, like 10 times more than Cody Rhodes finishing his story. That guy should be able to finish Hunter x Hunter. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people, you got some.
I was just gonna say, well, once again, he apparently has given the whole like, he already has like the whole rest of the story mapped out and given it to his wife to finish if he ever has to officially call it.
Right. Which, again, for anybody who doesn't know, the Hunter x Hunter guy's wife is the woman who did Sailor Moon, so it would be fine.
Yeah, she's the original author for Sailor Moon.
Yeah. So, anyway, so as for Shield Hero, again, we'll see him in Isekai Quartet, which is way more fun than this. So, yeah. Well, whenever season 5 happens, we'll probably do it. It might be one of those things where if we keep getting jam-packed with stuff like we have been, especially the last like half year here going into the beginning of next year as well, because freaking winter season for us in January is also going to be massive. It's going to be 3 jam-packed seasons in a row for us. So I can't imagine Shield Hero will be less than a year. So maybe by then stuff will have cooled down. The only thing I know for sure that's coming later next year that we're definitely going to be doing is Reincarnated as a Sword Season 2. Looking forward to that one. But Shield Hero Season 5, while we will do it, it might get bumped. You know what I mean? Like, we might not do it in the season it comes out. But that's just me assuming that, oh god, we're still going to be overwhelmed. You know what I mean? It might be like one of the few things that season. Who the hell knows? So, we'll just have to see where we're at, but we will do it. Or continuing the series, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, regarding as Sword in particular, is literally like almost a full year out because it's not until October next year.
Yeah, so we're still a year from that. So, anyway, again, we gave you guys the lineup. I'll let Victoria roll the traditional stills of the season, which we had a bunch of cool visuals at least. So there was that, and the aesthetic I enjoyed. So, gotta look at the positives. But yeah, again, very very subpar season. So, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond however you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the dojo. And this was Shield Hero, Season 4, Episode 12. And yeah, we'll be back next week with something else in this time slot. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.